A girl's ghost emerges from a mirror maze every night. Who imprisoned an innocent child there? Don't miss out. The psychics are going to unveil a horrible thing a mother did. You're watching Psychic Investigations, a channel of true and impressive stories. Here, people who call themselves clairvoyants investigate intricate criminal cases and awe-inspiring paranormal phenomena. Tetiana Ostapchuk from Ukraine approached the psychics, asking them for help. The woman carried her daughter for 9 months, but the baby was born dead. The girl was born with her umbilical cord wound around her neck 3 times.
I was shocked. What for? Why? Why did this happen? It was a nightmare.
Several years before her daughter's death, Tetiana lost another baby. She had a miscarriage 12 weeks into pregnancy.
I was admitted to the hospital with severe bleeding.
The woman prayed for her son Kirilo to be born, but she was close to losing him as well.
During the midterm examination, I was informed that there was a possibility of miscarriage. They hospitalized me to be on the safe side.
For 5 months, Tetiana feared making a movement and prayed for her baby to be all right.
I prayed to God for everything to go well.
The boy is now 4. He makes his parents very happy. But last year, the boy began suffering from mysterious attacks of suffocation. Doctors said it was because of adenoids. The boy had surgery to remove his tonsils, but the asphyxiation keeps bothering him even now. And recently, something happened to him that his mother can't explain at all.
There was a large mirror in the bathroom, and it suddenly fell and crashed for no reason.
It was a miracle it didn't kill the boy, who was washing his hands in the bathroom. Kirilo got scared and fell, hitting his head on the floor. His blood was everywhere. His mom says she spent the whole night at the hospital praying for her son.
He split his head badly. I cried over him. He's the dearest thing I have in the entire world.
Tetiana is certain the danger looming over her son and the deaths of her 2 other babies are the revenge for the murder her elder brother Serhiy committed.
One day, he returned home and found his wife in bed with another man.
Shocked, Serhiy grabbed a knife and chased his wife's lover.
And Serhiy killed, but his victim wasn't the man who was with his wife, but his friend.
Serhiy's accidental victim was Yuri. When he saw Serhiy running along the street with the knife, he immediately ran outside and tried to stop him.
And he stabbed him right in the heart.
Serhiy was sentenced to 7 years in prison for involuntary manslaughter. His unfaithful wife left the village, while Yuri's grieving mother cursed Tetiana's brother.
I can't help thinking that Yuri's mother didn't curse him alone, but our entire family.
Tetiana begs the psychics to help her sort it out and save her only son. The most experienced experts in our project, Jana Shulakova and Rubina Tsibulska, agreed to help the woman.
I had a vision of a young woman. She was in tears. And then she went up to a wedding dress, took and embraced it.
Was it Tetiana?
No, it was another young woman, but it has a connection to Tetiana.
It's weird. But my mirror is showing me a little girl with a kitten in her hands. She's fair-haired and blue-eyed. But she's dead. Jana.
Could it be Lisa, Tetiana's deceased daughter?
No. She's 4 or 5, and she tells me, "Let me out of here."
Let her out of where?
She's gone. Oh God, what is it?
Kitten on the road.
It's a sign. Jana, the girl. She's standing over there. Let's go with...
We're in the village where Tetiana lives. However, it's not her house.
The girl's spirit is telling me. I must come back here at 4. She's gone again.
Rubina, Tetiana's waiting for us. Let's return here after the investigation.
At that time, we were unaware of the grave tragedy that lurks within these walls and Tetiana's connection to it.
Hello.
Come into the yard, please.
Tetiana's husband is away, so the woman is at home with their son.
Help me save my child, please.
We'd like to work with your son.
What's your name?
Kirilo. I go to the kindergarten.
What do you like to draw?
Cars and swings.
When Rubina started working with the boy, Tetiana's cat began circling around us as if he saw something, and then I saw the dead girl's silhouette behind the boy.
When the boy looked into the mirror, the fair-haired girl's spirit I'd seen recently stood behind him. She didn't intend to hurt Kirilo, but I didn't understand why I was constantly feeling her.
Who could the dead girl possibly be? And what is her relation to the curse of Tetiana's brother that makes her children die?
We need to continue working, but it can be dangerous for the boy. You'd better take him inside the house. Somebody comes to the boy every night and leaves him before dawn. It happens at the same time every night.
Please make them leave. I don't want anything to threaten him. Help.
I hear you being called a murderer.
After my brother murdered, people called me so.
The heinous crime left the small, peaceful village in shock. The mark of the murderer hung over the entire family.
This tragedy didn't influence you alone. It ruined your mother.
She began drinking.
In just a few years, a wonderful mother and caring housewife transformed into a completely different person. She died from alcoholic poisoning. Tetiana's father left her family years ago, so she became an orphan.
What is your brother's name?
Serhi.
The cards say he's dead too.
Yes.
The woman's brother died on the doorstep of his house. His neighbor found his body.
By the time I arrived there, he was already dead.
A heart attack.
But Tetiana claims her brother never had any problems with his heart. She is still struggling to reconcile with his death.
You must know it. While he was dying, your brother asked you to forgive him for the humiliation you suffered after what he'd done.
It's important for me to hear. I forgive him.
When Tetiana's brother committed the murder, it was a great tragedy for the murdered man's mother. And the words of her pain, indeed, turned into a curse.
But I felt that it wasn't it that took Siri to the other world. His heart stopped because of something else.
The curse has nothing to do with the force that's haunting your son. It's a different otherworldly force. We must look for the answer in the house. I feel flowers, white flowers. There's a black thread wound around them. Here they are.
The flowers are on the dress.
Do you have it?
I do.
Could you bring it? Suddenly, I had another vision of the crying young woman. This time, she wasn't embracing the dress, but she stuck a pin with the black thread into it. I need to find the black thread.
Here.
It's done to cause damage.
I can't believe it. I couldn't even imagine anything like that.
She poured all of her problems and infertility into the dress. A bride who wears it will never have children.
I see you lost your first baby soon after the wedding.
Yes.
Where did you find this dress?
at a dress rental salon. But I bought it from them.
Did you buy it secondhand?
Yes, it was in perfect condition and very beautiful.
A young woman hired the dress before you. She was cursed with infertility, and you inherited the curse with the dress. This is why you lost your babies.
I can't believe it.
Is it possible that this pin with the thread puts the little Kirilo in danger?
The cards told me it was the curse of infertility, and Tetiana's son was only born thanks to her prayers.
I went to churches and monasteries. I asked God to show mercy and let me be a mother. Thank God, He sent me Kirilo.
But Tetiana's son suffered from something from the other world, and the infertility charm had nothing to do with it.
Regardless, we decided to neutralize the charm. And then I heard the voice again. It said, "Search in the house."
The clairvoyants didn't feel any mystical threat in Tetiana's house anymore, but the woman assumed that it could probably mean her brother's house.
We were here this morning. I see her again. The fair-haired girl with the kitten.
Who is this dead girl? And why is Tetiana crying?
She's my niece, my brother's daughter,
What was her name?
Sonia.
A few years after he was released from prison, Sergei married again. His wife's name was Inna. They had a daughter. But what happened to her?
She's so little. She's lying down helpless and little. She's like a little angel. I see a woman come up to her and cover her mouth and nose. And the girl, she killed her.
She was smothered by her mother, my brother's wife.
What a nightmare! The mother murdered her 5-year-old daughter while the girl was sleeping peacefully in her bed.
It's not a mother, it's a beast. Where was your brother?
He was at work. She did it early in the morning, but we only found out in the evening.
Serhii was doing his 24-hour shift at the farm in the neighboring village. When he returned home, his wife wasn't there, and his daughter was lying in one of the rooms, dead.
My brother called me, and I heard him yelling and shouting, "Sonia's gone! This is the end! This is the end!" And immediately I dashed there. When I saw her, I couldn't believe she was gone.
I see this woman write a letter. It's your fault. You are to blame. It will be better for her in the heaven.
That's right. This is what she wrote word for word.
The father found the terrible letter on the kitchen table, and only then did he realize it was his wife who'd killed his daughter.
When he read the letter, he screamed madly and ran out into the street.
Sonia's mother is alive.
She didn't dare to do this after all.
The police initiated a search for the woman, but she appeared at the police station a few hours later and confessed to everything. She was sentenced to 13 years in prison.
Killing her daughter was revenge on her husband, as she wanted a different life. She wanted money.
She told him to find a better paying job elsewhere, but he refused to go, saying he didn't wish to leave his family.
Tetiana says that working 2 jobs, Serhii was able to provide a decent life for his family, but his wife wanted more.
And then I felt a shock of recognition. This was the curse of the woman whose son Serhii had killed. He felt the same thing as she did. The grief of losing his only child. Then I knew why Serhii's heart stopped all of a sudden. He was unable to accept the death of his daughter, who was the essence of his entire life.
After you lost your children, she was a bright spot in your life.
I was with her since she was born, I treated her like my own little angel and called her my princess.
I felt the awful death of Tatiana's little niece had something to do with the thing that was haunting her son. Do you feel Sonia's soul in the empty house when you come here?
Yes. When I enter it alone, I always have a feeling of somebody standing next to me and looking at me.
I see Sonia's spirit again. She's pointing at the clock. She's crying and saying she was trying to show it to you. It's an alarm clock. It rang, and you got scared.
Yes, it really happened.
Amazing. But when Tatiana visited her brother's house a week after his passing, the old alarm clock in this room suddenly went off.
Nobody had wound it, and when it rang, the glass began trembling.
She was showing you the time. The clock was showing 4 o'clock.
She was killed at 4 o'clock.
This is the time of her death.
God.
Sonia's asking to release her from somewhere. Where was her body found?
In another room.
Can we see it? Is this where her bed was?
That couch.
I see her in a mirror maze. Oh my God. I don't feel well.
She saw Sonia in the mirror maze.
I looked up and saw an old Trumeau mirror in front of me. The murdered girl's energy was emanating from it. Look.
She's here. And you saw somebody in this mirror many times.
I mentioned it, but nobody believed me.
It's unbelievable. Is the girl's spirit locked inside the mirror? How could this happen?
It wasn't standing here.
It stood over here where the TV is now.
We needed to move the mirror to the place where it had been on the day of the murder. I needed to look into the past to see how the girl's spirit ended up locked in it. This little helpless girl. When her mother killed her, death was reflected in the mirror.
Normally, when somebody dies in a house, all mirrors are to be covered with cloth. It's done to prevent the late person's soul from entering them.
The mirror trapped the girl's soul. She's locked inside the maze. Because the girl's soul is trapped in our world, she keeps coming back to the room. It always happens at the exact time when her mother killed her. At 4 o'clock every morning. This is Sonia, who's posing the threat to your son.
She came to play with her cousin, as she did when she was alive. This is why the mirror crashed next to the boy. It was a portal through which the girl's spirit visited Kirilo.
The woman recalls that before she was killed, Sonia would often come to visit her, and she loved her little cousin.
Once, she came up to the stroller and said, "Who is this?" And I said, "It's your little cousin." "Cousin?" she said. "Can I play with him?"
Sonia's spirit didn't mean harm to Tatiana's son, but the necrotic energy was dangerous for the boy.
Can you do something so Kirilo is not in danger anymore? Can you give Sonia peace so she can finally rest? She's an innocent little angel.
We must release her from the mirror, and then her soul will go to the other world.
Rubina made a protection circle to prevent the spirit from returning to the mirror world. And I was supposed to summon the girl's spirit and take her out of the mirror maze.
Kitty.
It's unbelievable. This is the same kitten that our van almost ran over earlier this morning. It appeared in the house the moment the clairvoyants began the ritual.
Sonia loved cats.
She did.
Cats felt it. They appeared every time Sonia's spirit was nearby. Listen, her spirit is scared. And I'm not sure if she'd come out to see us. Jana, what if we show her the kitten? It's possible she won't be scared that much.
And the girl's spirit went out of the mirror to play with the kitten.
She's here. She's next to you, Tatiana.
She loves you a lot.
I love her too. And I will always love her. Sonia, I will never forget you.
I need to take her away from the mirror.
Quick, we must break it so she won't re-enter it. Sonia is in the heaven with her father. He finally reunited with his daughter. They're smiling, and nothing is threatening your son anymore.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This is what matters most. Thank you.
It is beyond horrendous. Tatiana's brother paid with his daughter's life and put his entire family in danger for the involuntary murder of an innocent person. A sensational investigation into the series of bizarre crimes. Who's murdering women of the small town? Don't miss it out. The psychics will come to the place where the murderer lives. In this episode, the psychics were approached by the relatives of Svetlana Mikno from Ukraine. On the 15th of August, 2013, some monster stabbed her to death right in the downtown.
The forensic examination found that the victim received 5 knife wounds. The first stab into the lung was fatal, while the other 4 were done after the woman was dead.
The body of the 33-year-old Svetlana Mikno was found at 7 in the morning, not far from the building in which she rented an apartment. The day before that, the young woman had gone to visit her friend, who lives down the street. She'd brought presents for the woman's son, her godson. She left them late at night, but she never came home.
She was lying here, right on this spot. But the police forbade me to approach her. She was lying covered with a blanket. There was a large pool of blood next to her head.
It was a resonant murder. The investigation involved dozens of police personnel, police dogs, and forensic experts. The investigators conducted inquiries with all potential witnesses.
It was summer. Everyone had their windows wide open because of the heat, but nobody saw or heard anything.
No traces of sexual violence were found on the woman's body. None of her belongings were missing.
She was murdered for nothing. It wasn't a robbery or anything. I simply don't understand it.
According to the police, the young woman was not in debt or had any enemies.
Svetlana was an accountant at one of the local supermarkets. She had divorced her husband 6 years earlier. She had a daughter, Elisa. The loss of her closest friend was devastating to the girl.
First, we told her that her mom had an accident and was in the hospital. But then we still had to tell her the truth.
It's been almost 3 years now, but the girl's pain hasn't passed yet. It's still hard for 14-year-old Elisa to accept her mother's death.
She can't be at the cemetery. Every time we go there, she's hysterical. Once, when we went there, she almost fainted. She said she wanted to remember her mom alive.
The police never found the bloody murderer.
I would really appreciate it if the psychics could help me find her murderer. I want that person to be punished for what they did.
Famous psychics Jana Shulakova and Yaroslava Fedorova set out to find the murderer.
Once I started working on the photo, I immediately had a vision. It was some kind of brawl. It involved young women humiliating, tormenting, and beating someone. But I didn't see the victim. It could be her.
What does it mean? Could some young women have been involved in Svetlana's murder?
The cards tell me to search for a woman in a window.
The clairvoyants went to the place where the victims' relatives live. Svetlana's sister and mother are waiting for them there, together with the locals, who have been living in fear for their own lives since the moment of the murder.
The people are here to learn the truth.
Please help us. We will be deeply grateful.
May I hold your hand? I am sorry, Mom. I wanted to buy flowers, roses, but I was too late.
Yes.
Svetlana was going to give her mother a bouquet of 55 roses as a birthday present for her jubilee. However, the celebration never happened. 2 weeks before her birthday, the mother had to take flowers to her daughter's grave.
She's grateful to you. She says you took her daughter.
It's true, indeed.
Natalia, Svetlana's sister, has no children of her own, so Alisa, her niece, became a daughter for her.
I have taken custody of my niece because she's my family.
Svetlana's daughter isn't here. The girl has been through a lot, so her relatives don't want to traumatize her even more.
Alisa wrote a note, and I keep it. Today, on the 15th of August, my dear mommy was murdered. I have no mommy now.
But who took the girl's mother's life?
A man who was around her was blamed. This man had brought her much suffering.
Dimitro, the man she lived with.
Several years after the divorce, Svetlana started a new relationship. She and Dimitro lived as cohabitants for a year.
Did he hurt her?
They had been quarreling lately.
It's weird, but Yaroslava Fedorova is looking back all the time. What is going on? Who or what did she see?
She wanted to leave him, didn't she?
He threatened her.
There were threats.
He told her she wouldn't live with anybody else but him.
This is insane. Could Svetlana's cohabitant have killed her?
Did the police check him well?
They said he couldn't have done it.
The law enforcers checked Svetlana's cohabitant's alibi. The witnesses confirmed he was home on the night of the murder.
Yaroslava, where are you going?
The woman is calling me. Somebody else was murdered here. There are bloodstains here. One stab, and then another. She didn't expect it. She turns around, sees the person, and says, "What are you doing? Why?"
My name is Olena. My mother was murdered here. She was waiting for me.
It turned out that a year after Svetlana Mikno's murder, in 2014, another murder happened in the town. The 45-year-old Marina Kolokayeva was stabbed to death near the building where she lived. She took 5 stabs.
I see her in some kind of fair suit with a pattern of big, bright flowers.
We buried her in that suit.
Your hands are in blood. Your hands are in blood. What does it mean?
Give me your hand. There was an argument, then he left, pissed. I only hear shouting.
Serhiy is the deceased Marina's husband. That day, they both went to his father's birthday. On their way home, they had a quarrel. The man hurried home. Marina stayed in the courtyard to wait for her daughter, who was coming home after visiting her friends. It was midnight, but nobody could even imagine what happened after that.
I was in the bathroom when I heard Marina's scream. She shouted, "What are you doing?" And then, after it, "Serhiy, help!"
Serhiy, help! And then there were screams. I heard them on the second floor. When I ran out, I saw Marina.
The first thing I heard when I opened the car door was yelling. When I approached, I saw Mom. She was lying next to the entrance door, under the entry phone. My stepdad was squatting next to her. Mom was covered in blood, and she was lying in a pool of blood.
She was rasping. I thought her throat was cut. I pressed it with my hand and began giving her artificial respiration. I was telling her, breathe, breathe, breathe. Marina died in my arms.
Serhiy is a rescuer at a mine. However, he failed to rescue his wife. He can't forgive himself for the quarrel and leaving Marina alone in the yard.
I can't live with it. I didn't want to speak to anybody. It was so stupid. I simply sat at home and cried all the time.
The strangest thing is that this inhumane crime had no motive either. Her belongings remained intact. No traces of sexual violence were found. The woman had never mentioned any conflicts with any of her colleagues or friends.
Behind this guy, I saw a woman. She is dead.
Is she your mother?
Yes, she was my mother. She was murdered too.
This is inconceivable. It's the third victim, and she's also a woman.
The 46-year-old Irina Danilia was found murdered in the summer of 2015. She was stabbed 13 times. And once again, it wasn't a robbery or rape.
Irina Danilia went to visit her elderly mom, who was sick, and stayed at hers until late at night. Irina was divorced, and she lived with her younger son, who was 16 then. Her elder son lived separately with his own family.
My younger brother called me and said our mom was murdered. I asked him, what? How? I ran there immediately. I don't even remember putting on clothes. My brother was hysterical. He was crying and saying he didn't save mom. He said she was calling him for help. She shouted out, help! By the time he ran out, she was dead.
At that moment, I saw a figure behind the bars and 2 scales. They were the scales of justice. Somebody was suspected in this murder, and they were detained and tried.
There is a suspect in the case. He's in prison now.
The 38-year-old Artem Hanilitsky, a local resident, was arrested on suspicion of murdering Irina Danilia. He was a specialist in measuring devices at an agricultural firm.
However, the murderers of Svetlana and Marina, the first 2 victims, were never found, and we needed to proceed with the investigation. When I look into your daughter's eyes, I clearly see a man. I think we must go to the site where she was murdered.
The psychics go to the site where, almost 3 years ago, the terrible murder of Svetlana Mikno happened, and the families and friends of the other victims go with them.
It's dark, and I can hear a bubbling sound. She can't shout or say anything.
She's choking on blood.
If the clairvoyant's assertions are true, then it's clear why there were no witnesses to the heinous crime. The victim didn't have a chance to shout out.
He had been following her for a long time. He was chasing her as if he were following her trace.
Zhana Shulikova takes her pendulum. Where will it bring the psychics?
She looks at the murderer.
Are the psychics walking towards the place where the mysterious murderer ran afterward?
He's walking and mumbling to himself. She received what she deserved.
Finally, the bitch received what she deserved. They're all the same.
The murderer is over there.
This is the place where the murderer lives.
The pendulum brought us there. The cards showed that door. Hello.
The psychics had felt that the murderer was a man. However, a woman opened the door.
Do you live here?
Well, yes.
There's a murderer behind this door.
I don't get it.
Where is the man? He lives in this apartment.
He's in prison.
Is he being tried?
Yes, the investigation is underway. He was arrested for a murder in 2015 on the 9th of July.
So he's a suspect of the murder that happened in 2015. What was the woman's name?
I think Irina.
She was the mother of this young man.
This is unbelievable. Does it mean that, while searching for the murderer of the first victim, the clairvoyants found themselves at the place where the man who is suspected of killing the third victim lives? Was it the same person who killed all the 3 women?
I called an ambulance because he had a wound.
It turned out that in the summer of 2015, Svetlana's husband, Artem, came home bloodied and with a deep wound. He said he'd been attacked by somebody. The woman called the ambulance. Artem was taken to the hospital where the police arrested him.
The examination revealed that the blood found on the man's clothes was the victim's.
However, the authorities didn't charge him for the previous 2 murders. Might the psychics have made a mistake?
Do you think he didn't do what they claim he did?
I'm absolutely sure he didn't murder anybody because he's not a murderer.
This is very cruel, especially given that he himself has a child.
He's a calm and quiet man. All his friends, everybody says he wouldn't hurt a fly.
He couldn't chop a chicken. How could he kill those women?
I must be 100% certain he is the murderer, or 100% certain he isn't.
The clairvoyants and the suspect's wife go outside. Svetlana is certain the psychics will help her sort it out and prove that her husband is innocent.
Go away.
Why are you telling me to go away?
She knew everything. I'm sure she did. She was simply protecting her husband.
I don't think he's guilty. Everybody has husbands, and every wife will defend her husband.
But why were we brought to your place?
We've got to check it.
We can't blame a person for nothing. It's easy to point your finger at someone, but if you claim something, it must be supported by evidence.
To sort it all out, the clairvoyants decided to visit the site where the third victim, Irina Danelia, was murdered.
If he really did it, I want him to spend his life in prison.
Blood. Everything is in blood.
She was walking from there. Cut fingers.
Her fingers were cut.
She resisted.
I know Mom fought.
From over there. He watched you find her as she watched, the mother choking on her own blood. Fear and pain in the arms of her son, a beast. He was following her. So he watched.
Here's the window. A woman looking out of the window.
I realized it was the woman in the window that the cards showed me in the morning. She'd seen the murderer and his victim from the window of the store she works at. Did you see her?
Yes, I said hello because I knew her well.
Was she followed? By a tall, slender man?
I saw him clearly. It was Artem Hnilitsky.
Svetlana? Then why did you tell us it wasn't him?
The same man murdered Svetlana and Marina. Zhana's pendulum brought us from the site of the first victim's death to the murderer of the third victim. His wife claimed he was innocent, but then we made certain he was the murderer.
It turns out that the man who is suspected of Irina Danelia's murder, Artem Hnilitsky, killed all 3 of them.
As a beast that tasted blood. First, second, third, and the interval between the murders is almost identical, and he even did it at the same time of the day.
At that moment, I saw all the 3 women. These were the spirits of the victims. Suddenly, another woman appeared next to them. She looked terrible. She was cut and covered in blood. I couldn't believe it. It meant that there was another, 4th victim.
Who was the 4th woman?
His mother-in-law.
He killed his mother-in-law, her mother, and she's defending him. This is 100% truth. Everybody knows it.
What makes you think he murdered her?
Because the court ruled so.
Had he been previously tried as a murderer?
This is impossible to comprehend. Did the man kill his mother-in-law before he committed the 3 awful murders?
She humiliated him when they all lived together. He's not a match for you. Why did you choose him? Look at this idiot, Svetlana. Did she tell you these things?
She did.
She was provoking him.
He put up with it for a long time, but then he lost control. He didn't understand what he was doing. He murdered her.
In 2011, Artem Hanilitsky was sentenced for the murder of his mother-in-law. The woman received 15 stab wounds. The court acknowledged the fact that the crime was committed in the heat of passion. 18 months later, the man was granted amnesty.
But Svetlana refused to believe her husband had murdered her mother. He's being tried currently, and she has sold everything she could to hire the best lawyer for him.
When I look at him, he looks back at me with this face, and I can't help laughing. He's so kind and calm. I could always talk to him about anything.
How could you? You knew he'd murdered already. How could you defend him and claim he was incapable of murder?
I swear I didn't know it was him. I didn't believe it.
This man's mother-in-law was an authoritarian woman. After he murdered her, he changed. He felt he had the power. I got revenge on one of them, and now I can get revenge on all of them. At that moment, my morning vision returned. Some kind of brawl. Young women are involved in it. They humiliate, torment, and beat somebody. And then I saw who they were beating. It was a teenage boy. It was the murderer in his youth.
The girls bullied him all the time. They surrounded him and kicked him. It happened when he studied at the college.
Now all the puzzles have fallen into place. He has had mental problems ever since he was young, resentment and anger towards women. So, the humiliations from his mother-in-law became a trigger.
Please, people, don't be mad at me. I swear I didn't know. And I'm terribly sorry that it happened. I am so sorry.
What matters most is that he was punished.
Thank you so much.
We're so grateful. We heard what we wanted to hear.
We waited for 3 years. You helped us a lot. Thank you.
I'm shocked. How dared he? I didn't believe it. I couldn't believe it until the last moment. What a cruel thing he did to my mom and those people. What did they do to him? I don't get it.
It is astonishing how bullying in his youth and humiliations in family life made a cruel maniac out of a timid young man. A series of horrendous crimes shakes up a small town. Who and why is strangling young women? Don't miss out. The victims' ghosts will lead the clairvoyants straight to the murderer's home. In this episode, the psychics embark on an investigation into the murder of Yulia Hlazunova, a young woman. Her 2-year-old son stayed an orphan after his mother was strangled in the downtown.
A young woman's body was discovered in a schoolyard on the 18th of September.
On the eve of the tragedy, Yulia told her common-law husband she was going to spend the night at her mother's, where the little Mikita was staying. However, Yulia never showed up at her mother's home.
The young woman was found dead in a location that is not on the way to her parents' place.
To Victoria, Yulia's mother, the news of her daughter's death was deeply shocking.
I didn't scream. I felt no panic. I simply howled. I miss her so much. It's so hard.
Yulia, like her mother, also married early. She married the young man she'd loved since school. But when she got pregnant, he tried to persuade her to have an abortion. Yulia refused and gave birth to her son, while her husband left the family. Now, the 2-year-old Mikita lives with Victoria and her husband, Kirilo. But who and why took his mom's life so brutally?
The forensic examination revealed that Yulia Hlazunova was murdered at midnight. No traces of sexual assault were found on her body. The motive of the murderer remains unclear.
The project's strongest experts, Kayal Alekperov and Olena Kurilova, took on the case.
I asked my djinns who'd murdered the woman and had a strange vision. A hand with a little turtle.
Could it be a tattoo?
A wedding ring with a turtle figure. And one more thing. The Jinns told me, search for the number 5.
Yesterday, I was working with the woman's photo when I heard her spirit's voice. It was not this woman's voice. She told me, he whose fiery marks are on me leaves his traces on them.
I asked my sacred book where we should search for the murderer. And the book told me, the woman with the double heart has the answer. But who could that woman be? And what does she have to do with the murder? And where do we find her?
This is unbelievable. The picture suddenly falls off the wall.
Is this the photo of the town we're in?
Yes.
Olena, this might be some kind of hint. Could it probably be where the murderer is hiding? Let me take a photo of it just in case.
Half an hour later, the psychics meet Yulia's family and friends.
Good afternoon.
My name is Victoria. This is my husband, Kirill. I would really like you to help find the killer who did this so that he could be punished.
I see her. She's holding a baby in her arms and she says, Mom, Kitik is now with you.
His name's Mikita, and we call him Kitik.
My book says that some marks were left on Yulia's arms. The bruises on her arms were left by the man she loved.
Victor.
The young woman met the 27-year-old Victor through their common friends. A relationship started, and soon the couple began living together. Yulia was happy. Her son finally had a father.
They had a conflict.
A fight?
It was 2 days before the murder.
Yes, and he grabbed her by the arms. She showed them to me on the eve of her death.
Yulia says, he was the last person to see me before I died.
Where's Victor now?
Victor isn't contacting anybody because, if I'm not wrong, he has a new relationship now.
It's been less than a fortnight.
And a new relationship so soon?
I need to see him to know if he has anything to do with your daughter's death.
The psychics and the victim's parents go to the place where Yulia and Victor lived. Kayal Alekperov suddenly stops.
I feel the murderer was standing next to the entrance. The feeling is sharp.
Come on.
This is horrible. Did the man she loved really strangle Yulia? His apartment is in this section of the building.
There's nobody in there. I see the apartment is empty.
The psychics dial Victor, but can't reach him. To have at least some information, the clairvoyants tune in to the energy of Victor's home.
The death energy isn't emanating from this apartment. I see that at the moment of Yulia's death, her man was having fun at a restaurant.
At the moment of Yulia's death, he was at a cafe.
There were a man and a woman sitting next to each other.
His brother and his wife.
That night, the security cameras caught Victor leaving the cafe. Yulia was already dead by then. Before it, Victor didn't go out of the cafe.
Yulia's spirit says, had he gone with me, I'd be still alive.
They were together at the cafe, but they quarreled, so she left alone.
She said, I'm going to Mom's. I'm going to pack my things. But she didn't go to your place. She went here.
My Jinns are telling me that a young woman has important information about your daughter.
Yulia has a conversation. 2 female voices. She seems to be talking on the phone. Let's go outside.
A young woman Yulia was talking to on her way here heard what the murderer said.
She was talking on the phone to Marina, her friend.
She told me, Marina, somebody's following me. She was most probably at the building's front door. I heard a male voice in the distance. It said, open up. Then my phone battery died, and I tried to get through to her from my sister's phone, but she was unavailable.
This is why Kayal Alekbarov felt the murderer's energy the moment he approached the building.
He had a knife. He held her from behind and threatened her with the knife. He's whispering to her, "If you scream, I'll slash you."
The feeling brings the psychics to the school, to the spot where Yulia was found, strangled.
I feel it happened here.
This is where my daughter was found.
I'm going to contact your daughter's spirit. I asked her, "What did the man look like? Did you see him?" And she said, "No, he was behind me all the time. He was strangling me."
Did he use something, or did he do it with his bare hands?
Not the hands. She's showing me something made of a twisted piece of cloth. He brought it with him.
So the murderer had planned his crime in advance.
Kayal, look. This is what I see. He does something like this, with the cloth, and she weakens and falls to her knees.
Now, I see the murderer step on your daughter's throat with his foot in a black shoe.
The smell. It stinks. His hands stink.
It smells like cooking oil.
Wait, Yulia is trying to tell me something. Yulia? My God, it's another Yulia. She's also dead, it's her spirit. There's another body, there's another young woman who was strangled to death. She's a little older.
This is my daughter.
Another murdered woman. This is insane. And her name is also Yulia.
Yulia Karakusha was found strangled in a town park early in the morning on the 9th of October. It happened 3 weeks after the first murder was committed. And just as with the first murder, there were no witnesses to the crime.
What's your name?
Inna.
We needed to see the place where the other Yulia died.
It's not far from the first spot. The woman often used this path on her way from home to the bus stop.
Was her body found here?
Over here, yes.
Yulia worked in the neighboring town. It's over 100 kilometers from her town, so she always left home at dawn to catch the first morning bus.
When Inna said goodbye to her daughter that morning, she didn't even think it was the last time she saw her alive.
I offered to walk there with her, but she said, "Mom, please don't. I can make it. Better go back to bed."
The bus stop is not more than 200 meters from her home, but Yulia never reached it.
She's lying on this bench. Yulia. She's lying on her back.
Yes.
What was she covered with?
A large navy blue towel.
Yulia was going to the neighboring town for a few days, so she took a traveling bag with her. The murderer took the towel out of it and used it to cover the victim.
She says, "Mom, you didn't recognize me at first."
An hour and a half later, Yulia's mother was going to the market through the park when she saw an ambulance.
Yes. I thought it was a homeless person sleeping. So I passed by her. I asked them, "Has anyone died?" and the ambulance arrived to take them? But they told me, "No, there's a young woman there." When they mentioned her black hair, I stopped listening and rushed to her. And then I saw it was my Yulia. I pressed her to my chest, but her lips were blue already.
The murderer laid the woman down carefully on the bench and put the bag under her head. Naturally, the passers-by wouldn't pay attention to a drunk lady sleeping. He's very calculating. And before somebody pays attention to her, he would be far away.
I see the number 5. This is the time when her life ended.
Yes.
He put the loop around her throat from behind. And again, I see some twisted piece of cloth. My gins are telling me there was a footprint on your daughter's throat.
He does it like this on her throat.
Yes. There was the mark on her throat that looked like it was crushed with a shoe.
Both women had the prints of a male shoe on their throats.
I again feel the smell of the cooking oil. It's sunflower oil.
Is this the same man?
I feel the same energy of aggression and hatred as at the first sight of the murder.
How do we find the murderer? Neither victim saw his face.
I recall that in the morning, the photo of your town fell off the wall at the hotel. I took a picture of it with my phone.
It turned out it was the photo of the local TV tower. The psychics and the victims' relatives go there.
I feel the murderer was here many times. I see the 5 again.
Could it be the number of a building?
I feel negative energy emanating from it.
5. Here it is, the number 5.
Hello?
But the clairvoyants have been feeling a man all this time. Could it be a mistake?
Elena and I were tuning in to the person who murdered 2 women in your town. The feeling brought us here.
You're going to have
This woman is pregnant. But what relation does she have to the brutal crimes?
It was the double heart, the one Kayal mentioned.
The woman with the double heart has the answer. You're not wearing a wedding ring, but you're married.
Yes.
And during the proposal, you got a strange ring on your finger.
Yes, it was a trinket. A turtle-shaped trinket with a ring.
Who gave you the turtle?
Yes, Vadim.
Was it your husband?
He kneeled and said, "Be my wife." And then he put it on my finger.
Seeing psychics and a crowd of people at the gate, Maria's mother came to support her daughter.
Call your husband.
He's in jail.
What was he arrested for? Was he a suspect in a murder?
An attempted rape.
The proceeding regarding the attempted rape of a minor is currently underway.
She would keep following him everywhere. She was in love with him madly.
What's her name?
Karina.
Karina is a 15-year-old girl who brought the case against Maria's husband. It turned out that Maria knows her, as she and her husband and their friends saved Karina from rapists last year.
We were chilling by the riverside when we saw some guys dragging the girl somewhere. We began shouting, threatening them to call the police. They fled immediately and we took her home. Karina liked Vadim a lot. He's a good man and he's really good looking with those blue eyes. So she began bothering him.
However, Karina told the police quite the opposite.
She claimed he restrained her and threw her on a couch and tried to rape her. Karina claims she scared him with an electric shocker and ran away.
Was your husband ever aggressive?
No, he's a kind, loving, and caring husband.
I see your husband in a cage, but it's a vision from the past, and it's somehow connected with another girl. Was he ever sentenced for murder?
Yes.
What a twist. Does this mean that Vadim has taken someone's life before?
In 2007, Vadim was sentenced to 13 years in prison for the gruesome murder of an underage girl. She was raped and strangled.
10 years ago, Maria and Vadim were at a party with their friends. Among them was the 15-year-old Nadia.
That evening, she was trying to kiss him and she hugged him. When I saw it, I had a quarrel with him. And the next morning, that girl's body was found.
I saw how he murdered that girl. First, she flirted with him, but then she rejected him. And then Vadim got really furious.
She wasn't raped by the man alone, but also with other things. She was bruised all over. Her skin was purple. She was beaten badly. I am convinced he didn't do it. He was slandered because he had no alibi.
As it turned out, Maria and Vadim had been dating since they both were youths. But after the man was imprisoned, Maria didn't see him for a while. Eventually, she decided to pay him a visit. The affection was rekindled once more.
When I saw him, I felt numb all over.
Maria married Vadim straight in the prison. Hence, the turtle-shaped trinket instead of the proper wedding ring.
Vadim spent almost 10 years in jail until he was released on parole. The authorities believed that he deserved amnesty for his good behavior.
There's something in your husband that makes him commit violence. I can feel it. There's something manic in his blood, but you won't admit it.
He committed a murder 10 years ago. Were there any burns on the body?
There were, yes.
There were lots of cigarette burns on her.
Finally, I realized what the words of the girl from my vision. The marks on the strangled women's throats were left by the same man who'd left the burns on his first victim's skin.
Where was your husband on the nights when the two women were murdered?
He spent the first night at home, and the other night he was at his mother's in the countryside.
The murder was at about midnight. He could have come back home.
It's quite possible that Vadim strangled Yulia Hlazunova at midnight and spent the rest of the night home.
And the second murder was at 5 in the morning.
Vadim's mother said he'd arrived in the morning of the 9th of October. It means he could have easily committed the murder at 5 and an hour later, be at hers, 20 kilometers away from the site.
As a young man, Vadim raped and murdered a girl. 10 years later, he met Karina. She reminded him of his first victim. Just as that girl, she lured him and then rejected him. It was a trigger.
It's a miracle Karina is still alive. I saw that man trying not only rape her, but also strangle her.
I spoke to Karina at the police station. She told me he'd grabbed her by the throat twice. This is what she told me herself.
But neither of the strangled women was raped.
The murderer didn't assault both women to fulfill his desires. He didn't know them and wanted nothing but revenge. He strangled them because he felt fury.
The psychics say that the murderer smelled sunflower oil.
Vadim worked at an oil mill.
So, this is why the psychics felt the smell. After the release from prison, Vadim worked at a factory that made cooking oil.
We're done here and we shared our vision.
Now the authorities have to prove his guilt.
Thank you so much.
Kayal, thank you kindly.
After the psychic's investigation, I found that the law enforcers carried out a number of examinations. The DNA examination showed that both women were indeed strangled by Vadim.
He fully admitted his guilt.
Now the man is facing a sentence for 2 murders, and it's highly unlikely he'll be released under an amnesty this time. It means the cruel maniac will never take anyone else's life. A ruthless maniac is out hunting. Can the psychic stop the serial killer? Don't miss out. The clairvoyants will come to the den of the beast. Terrified residents of one of the Ukrainian towns are asking the psychics for help. The people want the clairvoyants to investigate the murder of a 13-year-old boy. All his neighbors knew and liked Stas Boyko. But somebody knocked the boy on his head, strangled and undressed him, and then threw the body into a river.
He was buried on his 14th birthday.
The tragedy occurred during the summer vacation. Stas left his home at midday, telling his mom he was going to see his friend Vlad. However, he never made it there. When the boy didn't come back home when he was supposed to, his mother started dialing his mobile. But the phone was off. The family got worried. All the neighborhood went to search for the boy.
2 local fishermen found the boy's body in the river the next day.
I saw it over there where the stick is sticking out. There was a human body floating.
The teenage boy's skull was broken in several places. and there was a trace of a rope on his neck. The forensics concluded that Stas died in the afternoon of the same day he disappeared.
The boy's clothes were never found. The police searched the area around the river but didn't find anything.
Most likely, the killer took the victim's clothes because he thought there might be biological traces on them.
But who and why murdered the 13-year-old boy? Where did Stas meet his murderer? And how did his body end up in the river 5 kilometers away from his home?
The local investigators passed the case onto the regional prosecutor's office. It is very strange. As a rule, highly important cases, such as those involving serial killers or pedophile maniacs, go further.
Two of the most powerful psychics of the project, Kayal Alekperov and Yana Pasinkova, take up the investigation into Stas Boyko's death.
I see 2 girls. They look alike, like they're sisters. They have fair hair and pretty faces. One of them says, "Find 2 masks." One of them cries, and the other laughs. The murderer hides behind them.
I feel the smell of burning, like a bonfire. The murderer could possibly be connected with fire.
My jinns are also showing me fire, and in it, there's the burning letter B. Or it might be the Cyrillic V. Is it possible that the murderer's name begins with it?
Stas's mother and aunt, whose name is also Oksana, are waiting in front of the house in which the boy lived. Their neighbors are also there.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello? Thank you for coming. I want to know who killed my son and why they did it.
Stas. He's pulling you by your coat like this. Mom, I wasn't supposed to pass away. You can't live without me. I know it's hard for you.
Stas was the eldest among the 6 children in the family. His father is always at work, so the boy was his mother's right hand.
He always tried to help.
He said, "I want my mom and dad to be proud of me." And he always did everything. He helped her a lot.
The entire town was shocked to learn of the boy's death. His mother even developed problems with the skin of her face because of the stress. People can't understand who and why murdered the 13-year-old teenager so brutally.
A man takes something from him, and I hear a phrase, "If I lose it, Mom's going to kill me."
He took my phone. My husband bought it for me as a present.
The attacker took away the phone from your son, but it wasn't his main goal. I can't see his true motive yet. Yana, we need to see the place where Stas's body was found. The boy was still alive when he was here. He was murdered right in this place. The man, the murderer, had been watching him from the moment he left home, and then he knocked him on his head. He strangles the boy, undresses him, and throws his body in the river. And he takes boy's clothes away. To know who and why killed Stas, we needed to contact the boy's spirit.
The kitten appeared out of nowhere. It was so unexpected. Nobody knew where it came from.
I'm still astonished.
This is the boy's soul. The spirit is showing me the murderer. It's a man of average height. He's short-haired, and his hairline is receding. And now your son's spirit says, "Look, I'm not alone." There's one more spirit. It's a young woman.
There was a young woman of 21 who was killed a month before Stas.
During the Kupala night.
Dasha was murdered first, and then was Stas.
It's horrifying. Another bloody murder in such a short period of time.
Yana, Dasha is pointing at her head. She was murdered in the same manner as Stas. She was knocked on her head.
Yes, but she wasn't strangled. That's the only difference.
The young woman's name was Dasha Ozarko. A month before her death, she graduated from a college and started working at one of the banks in the town. On the day of her murder, Dasha, Ala, and Ala's boyfriend went to the park to celebrate the Kupala night.
We went there at about 8 in the evening. We stopped to talk to the people we knew, but most of the time there were just 3 of us.
Ala, as far as I understand, you and Dasha separated before she was attacked.
I went to dance to the last song, but when I came back, Dasha was nowhere to be found. I dialed her, and we heard her phone ringing.
Dasha's phone ringtone came from the bushes.
I didn't recognize her immediately because she was all bloodied. The clothes, I only recognized her by the clothes.
According to Ala, she and her boyfriend found Dasha's body on the side of the path, along which people were walking. Given the fact that her mobile wasn't stolen, the investigators rejected the version of a robbery.
As the examination further revealed, Dasha hadn't been raped either. The motive for the murder still remains unknown. Who and why took the life of the young woman?
Now your son's spirit is mentioning a secret. The secret connects Stas and Dasha.
He knew her, and he saw her when she was alive.
I can't tell it.
Wait. Stas's spirit is showing me another young woman. She's also dead. She looks very much like Dasha. Has anybody else been murdered in this town recently?
I don't know.
To find the murderer, we needed to know who the 3rd victim was, and what secret connected Dasha and Stas.
We need to meet Dasha's family.
It turned out that Dasha lived some 500 meters from the park where she was murdered.
I am Alexander, Dasha's father.
Give me Dasha's photo, please. Tell me, do you know what could connect Dasha and Stas?
The age gap between them was big enough. He was 13 while she was 21.
It was the Kupala night celebration. There were plenty of people there, and most of them were young, so I assumed that Dasha could meet Stas at the celebration.
When we mentioned that Dasha had been murdered, Stas said, "Mom, I was there." And then he suddenly went silent and didn't say anything else. After that, he tried to avoid this topic.
The card of the victim and the card of the witness. He didn't simply see Dasha at the celebration. He saw her being murdered.
This is shocking. Is it possible that Stas was killed as a witness to the young woman's murder?
When we know who killed Dasha, we will know Stas's murderer. We must go to the site where Dasha was murdered.
It's not far from here.
I hear the voice of another young woman who I'd seen in the same vision as Dasha. She keeps saying, "Find 2 masks. One of them laughs and the other cries." The murderer hides behind them. And now she says, she'll show us the masks.
Yana Pasinkova goes to the site of Dasha's murder. Khayal Alekperov goes where his feelings are leading him.
We need to turn left and then right.
The psychic stops the van next to a building.
The masks are supposed to be here, but where are they?
The building seems to be in the process of renovation, but what are the masks supposed to be?
Excuse me, tell me please, what kind of building is it, and were there any masks in it?
Yes, they were. It's a house of culture.
It's incredible, but we found the photos of the House of Culture before the renovation. There was an old bas-relief of 2 theater masks standing for tragedy and comedy on its facade.
We need to go there. The spirit is showing this way.
The psychic dives into the shrub. We are scared, but we still go after him. The clairvoyant stops at an abandoned building.
Look at the signature here.
You will find your death here, if you believe in God.
It was written by the murderer. This is his hiding place.
It later turned out that this is the building of an abandoned children's summer camp. According to the psychic, Dasha and Stas's murderer visited this place. But why did he do it? And who is he? Meanwhile, Yana Pasinkova reaches the site of Dasha's murder.
A man did this. He's a beast. He knocks her with something he holds in his hand. You can find this thing anywhere. It's something heavy.
A stone?
Blood pours out of her head.
The murderer is connected to occultism. My book says both victims were murdered at big Christian feasts.
Dasha was murdered early on the 7th of July and Stas on the 2nd of August. The 7th of July is the birthday of John the Baptist, and the 2nd of August is the day of a biblical prophet Elijah.
These were ritual murders.
It's unbelievable. Does this mean that the maniac is also a religious fanatic? But who is he, and where can he be found?
The young woman's spirit is pointing at the 2nd floor. Can we climb there?
We held our breath. However, it was impossible to climb to the attic, as there were neither stairs nor a ladder anywhere near.
What is this noise?
Everyone is seriously scared. We're in the woods, and it's dark. Who's making the noise? Is anybody else also here?
Look, a ladder. The woman's spirit gave me the sign to climb there. Put the ladder over here. I felt there was a clue in the attic. The murderer had left there something that could help us identify him.
Did you hurt your leg?
Help me get up. It hurts a lot.
Somebody shoved the ladder. The moment it fell, I saw a sturdy, gray-haired man. He looked like he was burning in flames. I didn't know who he was, but it was he who pushed the ladder to not let me climb in there. I don't feel well. I see terrifying visions of what the murderer saw. This is awful. There are more victims than we think.
Do you mean we're at the maniac's den?
I saw the man make sacrifice to the element of fire. The maniac was burning the clothes of his victims. It was the clue.
I was consulting the cards at the site of Dasha's murder, and I kept getting the card of the person obsessed with the idea of revenge. But who was the target of his revenge, and for what purpose?
I decided not to attempt climbing to the attic anymore, not to put the crew at threat. It would be better if the police searched the place during the day. The woman's spirit is showing me a white cross against a purple background. She says it has all the answers. It's connected with religion. I'll try to draw it.
The crew immediately send the picture to the project's detective. It's possible she can find out what the symbol means. Kayal calls his colleague.
Yana, these were ritual murders. And the victims are more than 3, and the unknown young woman whose spirit visited me together with the spirits of the boy and Dasha is also his victim. She died first, and the murderer has been punished for it. He started his bloody path about 20 or 25 years ago. Yana, I'm sorry. I've got another call. Don't hang up.
What you drew is the symbol of Seventh-day Adventists.
Is there church anywhere in the town?
Yes, I found the address.
Thank you.
The clairvoyants arrive at the address, but the door is locked.
I feel the murderer's energy in this building. He used to live here. He's a stranger in your town. He was invited by somebody who frequently visits this place, and the Unonyung woman, the first victim, she wasn't local either. She was from a different region.
Nobody knows.
The murderer is obsessed with fire. He burned something all the time. And if he didn't burn the clothes of his victims, he hid them in his den. We can't even imagine how many lives the beast has taken away. I've just had a vision of another dead boy. He was local, he had dark hair, and was of the same age as Stas.
This is the 12-year-old Ilya Makarov. The boy used to live not far from the church, with which, according to the clairvoyants, the murderer is connected. Ilya Makarov disappeared on the 22nd of May, 2016.
It's unbelievable, but the 22nd of May is another Christian feast, Nicholas the Wonder Worker's Day.
But why is he killing children and teenagers on Christian feasts? Who doesn't like Christians? Pagans. And then I realized that the sturdy gray-haired man in the flames who prevented me from climbing to the den's attic was one of the pagan gods. The pagans believed Dazbog and Svarog to be the most powerful among their gods. They are the gods of the sun and celestial fire. These gods don't want us to stop the murderer because the maniac makes sacrifices to honor them.
He won't stop killing.
I found the contact information of the pastor. He must know all his parishioners.
The murderer is a man of the average height. He's short-haired and his hairline is receding. His name starts with B or V.
When Katerina described the man we were looking for, the pastor recalled a man named Volodymyr.
How did you meet Volodymyr?
I pay visits to the penal colony, where I give services and bring people the word of God. Volodymyr was among the inmates.
Serhiy says that Volodymyr was imprisoned for a murder.
Who did he murder?
It was his third sentence. Volodymyr killed a girl, a university student.
The man's 2 previous sentences were for a robbery and an arson, and the third time he went to prison for the murder of a university student from other town. Her name was Ruslana. The beast broke her head, just like he did with Stas and Dasha.
At that moment, I thought it was the young woman Kyle Alekperov constantly mentioned.
In total, Volodymyr spent 25 years of his life in prison, and he was released recently.
How come Volodymyr settled to live in your church after the release?
I asked the church's elders if he could stay and guard the building. They gave their permission. And so he settled here.
Serhiy confesses that after the release, Volodymyr changed dramatically. He was cheerful and calm in prison, but once he was free, his behavior became strange.
Then we began seeing bonfires over the fence. Somebody was burning some bed sheets and clothes, and the smoke was acrid. And then we realized it was he. I had never met anybody like him before. He believes in Dazbog. You know, all this paganism and idol worshipping. In the past, people used to worship Dazbog and make sacrifices to him.
Serhiy says that Volodymyr was a fanatical pagan, and he even preached his faith in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. As a result, he was eventually expelled.
Did he live in the town?
There's an abandoned building in the city where homeless people hang out. He was there.
It looks like it could be the place that Kyle Alekperov found.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We didn't even think to connect all those murders.
Later, the investigators found Volodymyr's belongings in the attic of the abandoned building found by Kyle Alekperov. They also found the clothes of Dasha, Stas, and Ilya Makarov. In the maniac's den, the investigators also found a calendar in which Volodymyr marked several dates. These were the days when the victims disappeared. The maniac was arrested.
After the investigation by the psychics, the prosecutor's office of this region expressed gratitude to our project.